Right now, we'll take a look at the front pages of the National Dailies, and as usual, we'll start with the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. There's a lot on the front page. Now, the major story here says NAHCON in dilemma as low turnout threatens 2024 Hajj preparations, which is not something that we would say was not expected. The writers are saying that fare rises by 682% in 10 years. There's less than 25,000 pilgrims pay so far. Less than 25,000, and we know based on the statistic there's been a huge always turnout, from Nigerians going to Hajj, but then this year people are not even more than 25,000. That says the state seek extension of December 31st to be the payment deadline. High cost responsible for poor outing. That's according to intending pilgrims. I mean, they don't even have to say this. They don't have to say that the high cost is something that is responsible. We all know how the economic situation has affected everybody. And right now, Nigerians are looking for ways to eat, to get the basic amenities. Not at this point, Hajj is now looking as though it's something luxurious. You need to because the cost is high. It's super high. But in 10 years, 682% increase. So you can imagine how. So the thing is, right? Even if, for say, let's say I give you a seat, you need some change, the money that you're going to survive with. Definitely. So imagine with this economic situation now, maybe you need nothing less than $1 million to travel because you want to get gifts for your loved ones, and then even for yourself. There are places that you have to go to that you have to spend, and people will not spend that for, even though they are going to make arrangements for buses that would take you from this end to that end, but then the cost is too high, and definitely the turnout is not going to be as huge as it was for 2023 because it's 2024. So and there was a time where there was a rumor about a woman going to Hajj and coming back broke to a point that she had to, go and commit suicide. A really sad situation. So things like this is scary for somebody to be like, I'm going to pack all the money that I have to go. Then what if I come back? I still need to survive. So definitely the government needs to look at this because the price they can cut off some percentage and then the government can actually, maybe complete the rest, which I know it's kind of, not sure it's to happen. The government can do anything. But governments are like the grandpas. They need to find a solution for the family. So. You'll find this story on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper there. Below that one, we have Naira devaluation, how neighboring countries and others feast on Nigeria's cheap grains. It says the rider merchants lead after rumored CFA redesign. Cottage industries in Mali come for pepper, palm oil, and tamarind. The soybean, maize in high demand in Ghana. Encourage irrigation to make farmers rich. That's according to experts. You find this on page 5 and 6. If there is one thing we've always been beating on is the advantage of pushing farmers and doing the needful, securing their farmlands in order to get, and make sure you also, the government should work on making the Naira's value to rise. That would make all our economy issue just fixed automatically. I mean, when we can actually have enough food here in the country and even export, and our Naira is of value. I saw something on social media trending about people saying, I remember when there was an old Nollywood movie playing, and they said, he was saying that this is the most expensive restaurant where Ekwobi is 150 Naira. And that point where Nigerians knew that the small amount of money would get you a large thing. Whatever you can eat enough. Exactly. Yes, so that's that time. People are now reminiscing over it, and it's meaning that Nigeria I have hope that it's going to come back. Yes, definitely. It's just a hardship which, like I always say, every country is facing its own kind of hardship. So that doesn't mean Nigeria is going to be left out. And let's not forget, Nigerians are hopeful. We are always more than any other country. We're always strong. We keep up. We carry on with hardships, whatever situation we find ourselves. But please, let's not push the Nigerians to the extreme. There should be, a way to fix all of this before it actually gets out of hand. All right. Beside that, we have marriage propelled me to become the best medical student. That's according to 24-year-old mother. Bandits kill 4, kidnapped 39 in FCT Niger communities and demand 50 million naira each for each abductee. It's really a sad situation where people that are poor are the ones that are kidnapped every day and demanded.
Well, it's not just the poor.
Funny enough, the poor gets mostly attacked. Yes, I mean, there was this recent one. A nursing student just got a holiday, just this festive period. So they were in a bus traveling from the nation's capital, Abuja, here to, I think, the Lokuja area. And you know those axes are known always for to be a kidnappers then. So they got all of them in the buses. You look at those people and you know that those people are the middle class and the lower class. So you're asking somebody that could barely survive. Their parents is putting everything they can to send this person to school, and you're asking them for 50 million. Where can they get it? And until now, she's still there because her parents are saying, we cannot afford it. They came down to 10. They said, we still cannot afford it. The people that you can reach out to are also, you know, battling with the basic amenities. So it's really bad. The security issues need to be fixed. It's really a sad situation.
It's really sad, you know, that people cannot even travel. You know, you're traveling, you're scared.
There's panic.
If I tell you it's been 2 years that I actually traveled to go and visit my family, just here in Kaduna, you'll be shocked. Because I'm always scared, you know, like it's always my tummy. What if? I know when you pray, you leave everything to God, is fine, but then you always have that fear. That fear is always going to be there that anything can happen. It's
really a sad situation, and it leaves people with terrible post-traumatic stress and disorder. We have the thrills of Egbira Irewa Hunting Festival. You'll find this beautiful story on page 18. One thing would give African, especially Nigerians, is the beauty of culture, Fatima. Each time we bring in a beautiful tribe and then we start displaying the culture of that tribe. You can't wait, you can't help but fall in love and want to, you know, join in the festivity. So we appreciate people that are not letting go of the culture and tradition in Nigeria. We have the inside story of Bauchi man who was killed by the ex-girlfriend in Kano. You get details of this story. There's been a dilemma on that story, but Daily Trust got it, you know, the clarification of what really happened. You find that on page 8.
A lot of analysis. Yes. A lot of analysis from social media.
Conspiracy theory. That's the word. Conspiracy theory. People.
The social media moguls, I would say. Family,
investigators.
They are good investigators. Different analysis I've heard. I don't know what to believe. But, you know, when there are cases like this, like a woman killed a man or stuff, they are saying, some are saying, oh, she's dating him, or they were supposed to get married, but he was not ready, and then he's not supposed to do any business with a married woman. A whole lot of analysis that my head can't
even wrap your head around.
You know, so but then the truth will come out, and they alone can actually speak for themselves. You know, even though one can try to maybe kind of cover up one or two things, you know, because of the fear of what
the unknown, of course.
Exactly. So
of course, if you want to get the insight of that story, check page 8. The entertainment segment says 2023, the wins, the losses in Nigeria's entertainment industry. You'll find that on page 12 and 13 of the Daily Trust. Now, these are some of the stories on Daily Trust Saturday.
Okay, so let's quickly move on to the Guardian this morning. On top of the rider there says, sweet poison, how banned agrochemicals abuse triggers disease, life-threatening ailments. You can find that story on page 24. Mayowa Adioti, creating women-focused tech hub can help bridge gender gap in sector. You can find that story on page 15. Now, the major story there says plateau killings, how failure of intelligence fueled carnage. You can find that story on page 2. So Maya, now looking at the story of sweet poison and how banned agrochemicals abuse triggers diseases and life-threatening ailments, you can see that farmers, I think this goes to farmers because they tend to abuse, you know, some chemicals that could maybe, you know, make their grains
quickly ripen the
yes.
grains.
So I think there was a time that, you know, that discussion actually happened on the morning show when all these health experts came and spoke about, some of the things that we eat that are forcefully ripened, like by using chemicals and all, which is really, you know, detrimental to people's health.
True, that is really true. So we need to be extra careful. I mean, we've seen
maybe they can regulate how much they can actually put out there.
It shouldn't even need to. When we talk about organic, I mean, that's why we always push for farmers to have farmers in the country. So we need things organically. You need to just take your time, let it grow.
You know, the sweetness is even different from the organic and the one that the chemical actually is. So you can find the story on page 24 of the Guardian. And then Southwest governors to join Ondo government family for Akeredolu's burial. You can find that story on page 3. Fight terrorists professionally to end war in Northeast. Commander urges troops. You can find that story on page 3. Genocide. PDP slams Tinubu for failing to visit Plateau communities. You can find that story on page 2. Now, Smaya, that's
it's not
a genocide.
It's not about the president, you know, visiting the communities, you know, and I know, anyway, we saw how the president was represented by the vice president in Tudunbiri when it happened. But even then, the vice president was there, I think, 2 weeks after the event happened. So I'm sure that, you know, the president would definitely make a move to go there. But it's not about, you know, situations happening and then you'd go on later and tell them, oh, we feel for you. It's about it's being avoided in the first place. And that's the banter that has been happening.
Because,
the
you know,
you
know, on social media yesterday, I bumped into videos of netizens, you know, letting out their anger, saying that this information must have gotten to them beforehand, you know, that they could have done something, you know. So even though the explanation is kind of, I don't know if saying there was a delay, there was an issue with the roads and, you know, stuff that made them not to get there.
They spoke about the locations and all that, even though
it's not easy
distress calls about 37 times while it was happening. Honestly, it's really a sad situation. It's something that could be avoided. And the most annoying thing is that investigation is going to be just starting, because a lot of these perpetrators, they couldn't even get one of them. So
and then you can look at the scenario that happened in Kaduna, and then this massive killing that just happened in
losing people,
slaughtered and killed, and in hundreds. And it's really, you know, it's a sad situation, because there's no single day that you wake up you don't see a story of someone being killed, or, you know, or kidnapped, you know, and one thing or the other. And it's really sad. Well, that's the stories that you can find on the Guardian this morning.
All right, let's take a look at the Punch Saturday this morning. Below the headmaster, it says industrialists and parents lament as troubled Naira ends 2023 at 907 per dollar. You find that on page 4 and 15. Akeredolu fought for Southern president. That's according to the Southwest governors. Well, may his soul rest in peace. We have the major story saying that IG lands in Plateau as residents flee 25 threatened communities, visits the governor and begs residents to stay, deploys tactical teams to hunt attackers and secure communities. Some overzealous security agents turn victims into suspects. Governor tells Egbetoku. Now, this is exactly what one netizen said, you know, while I was going through the social media. Someone said there's that fear of getting innocent people and tagging them the culprit, because the easiest way that you could have gotten the culprit is in the acts, which took days. I mean, the attack started on Saturday. Until even yesterday, there was still, you know, a bit of complaint here and there of those villages not being secured. So definitely, and we saw how the governor Caleb Mutwan came out on his interview to say that the federal government are not really assisting when it comes to security. We saw how the governor of Zamfara State also came out to make that same complaint, saying that there is no help from the federal government. So when it comes to securing a particular a state, we need to work together, because we know how the north, this insecurity thing started spreading. It started from one state to another. So it's a collective effort, not just one.
Is the governors of each state are the federal government themselves?
No, they are the state government.
But they are part of the federal government at the end of the day.
That is why they need help.
I know.
After all, they reach out to us to say we as the citizens, or we as the Nigerians, we need to also partake in the policing process. So if you're saying that we're going to leave everything to the state governor, then definitely they wouldn't be able to tackle this situation alone. So we need to do it collectively, because one bag potato can spoil the rest.
I think that's why some states are trying to, invent, or should I say, come up with vigilantes that, can be in this axis, that could be like a watch out for the people. To
help. And people, on Friday, yesterday, our guest for Daybreak, Malam Nuruddin Abdullah, mentioned that even these bandits, they are more scared of the vigilante groups than...
because the vigilantes are people that they may even know.
So they know each other.
They know each other. So definitely they know what this can do or that person can do. And then, the issue of state policing has been back and forth. We just hope that something is
honestly, because the numbers of people we're losing, it's not going to help. Because
I know if we were to look at the statistics of number of people that have died from starting early January till this December 30th, being the last Saturday of the year, it's really going to be a whole lot. I'm sure thousands of people.
It's really a sad situation, Fatih. Definitely. I hope that the grieving people of Plateau State, may God give them strength. It's really a sad situation. The governor, oh my God, I don't even want to be in his shoes right now. And those villages that were abandoned, we hope that it can be fixed, for people to at least go back home. We don't want to have more displaced people in the country. Well, moving on from that, below there we see the deadly garbage. The fear of epidemics looms as Lagosians turn streets to dumps. Why rape cases are high in Ogun. That's according to the commissioner. It's a situation there. We have anxiety as multiple admissions and student backlogs frustrate the law graduates. And in the entertainment segment, there's about 24 entertainers to watch out for in 2024. Now, these are some of the stories on Saturday Punch.
Okay, so let's take a look at Saturday Vanguard. The writer there on top says, Akeredolu, it's an insult to mourn him outside hometown, Kingsmen tell family. You can find that story on page 8. 2023, a year of hardship, killings, political intrigues, toughest presidential poll. You can find that story on page 11. The major story there says Nigeria 2024, why we will slide further into economic chaos. Scarcity, the writer there says scarcity to bite harder as failure to hit us more. Reasons 2024 budget may not be implemented. You can find that story on page 9. Now, Sumaya, the major story there is saying that we may slide more, and I think, I don't want to use the word deeper because it's already deep, into economic hardship.
World Bank also made that prediction. Thank you. They made that, and they said that it would
about 6 states.
Yes, we're going to have another issues. We're going to go deeper into the economic chaos, and they made a statistic of saying it could be, maybe the prediction could change by the end of May, which is a long time.
That's 2024.
In 2024, so that is not looking good for us. We just hope that, the essence of these predictions and statistics is for the necessary people to find a way to go around it and avoid those predictions from coming to reality. So we just hope that 2024 would come with a better situation. It's the World Bank.
They have audits and the breakdowns of what is happening in states, because they have always been supportive, giving funds for projects.
NLC NLC said they are the enemies of the country because the World Bank suggested there should be a total removal of subsidy. Don't forget, there's an alleged situation saying that the federal government is still paying some kind of subsidy for the petrol price to remain in the 600 price. So they're saying that they should remove it in total. That way the economy would boom, and NLC attacked them bad. So I'm sure they will disagree with you right now.
So definitely, I know. But then, I'm just saying that they have because, they've been giving, funding projects for Nigeria for a very long time, so definitely they have the breakdowns of what's happening in various states where the money is being taken to for the necessary projects.
Insecurity is a major issues in those states because it's the northern parts of the country where they
everything.
Exactly, food and all that.
Yeah, so you can find that story on page 9. Plateau Christmas Eve massacre survival. We pretended to be dead, but as my son tried to crawl away, the Fulani attackers noticed he was not dead. They killed him. You can find that story on page 14. Now, this is a mother, saying what has happened in her own presence right before her eyes, how her son was killed. And Sumaya, you can imagine her saying crawling. How old could this baby
really
be?
Terrible, Fatima. I saw some of the videos. Grossly, you know me, I don't even want to look at those things. I'm getting emotional just by you reading that out. It's horrible.
Yeah, definitely. It's really sad. You can find that story on page 14 of the Vanguard. State of the Nation, why I pray for our oil to dry up. You can find that story on page 13. Now, this is a different thing. It was someone praying that our oil should dry up.
That way we can exploit other things. I think maybe that could be why. Like
electronic cars.
If there is one thing that
cars that could run on water.
If there is one thing the world knows, is that Nigerians are one smart people. If a Nigerian decides to set a goal for themselves, they will achieve it.
And
so
there's
maybe
a guy
someone is saying, I
came,
want it to dry up so that we can exploit other things because we have a lot of talent.
Definitely. I mean, the Maiduguri guy that invented the car, the electronic car.
That was what I was bringing to say. Our program showcase always brings how talented people are. People creating drone, someone creating a tricycle that doesn't need a fuel.
Someone creating solar.
So there is a lot of things that Nigerians could actually exploit from.
Yeah, so you can find that story on page 13, even though I would love to read that story to know who really said that. 2023, biggest fallout from Nigerian music landscape. You can find that story on page 19. I can see Tiwa Savage there yeah, so you can find that story on page 25. And then bandits invade Abuja, Niger communities, kill 4, kidnap 39. You can find that story on page 5. Sumaya, it's like we said, every single day we hear stories of people being kidnapped, killed. So you can see that bandits invaded Abuja also, I'm sure some areas. And then Niger also community, they killed 4 and kidnapped 39.
It's really a sad
And then
situation.
imagine this 39, they keep demanding for ransom, each person 10 million, 50 million, like you just said. How would the family feel? And what do they do with all this money when they
That's a question for another day. It's just greed. I mean, greed makes you hurt other people and you make excuses of poverty and all that because every other person is going through the same thing. We're in the same economy,
it's really
country.
sad, that people are turning this way. And we just hope that things get better and God makes it easy for everyone.
Indeed.
So that's it for the Vanguard this morning.
All right, let's quickly take the Tribune this Saturday. It says bandits raided the FCT community and 2 Niger villages and killed 4, abduct 39. Police rescue pregnant woman from kidnappers den in Ogun. The major story is saying IGP in Plateau as fear of fresh attack grips the residents. Traditional rulers ban New Year celebrations and Middle Belt Forum attacks government and security forces. I mean, someone needs to, challenge what is happening. Plateau State is really in a very sad situation there. And there have been threats of, new attacks. A really sad one. I mean, somebody that needs to have the guts to say, we did it and nothing happened for a week, so we can still do it again. Moving on, we have Northern Elders Forum, Mons ex-speaker Naabba. may his rest in peace, Gali Omar Naba. We have 2024 will be worst year for Naira since 1999. That's Bloomberg. It says Bloomberg rather. Forex reserves dip to 6-year low. I am most competent to place Edo on path of development, says Igodalo. Southwest states to jointly organize Akeredolu's burial. And at the bottom there, it says history will remember Akeredolu for standing up against the marauders. That's according to Olateju, the Information Commissioner. Now, these are some of the stories on the Saturday Tribune. Now, this is the much that we can take on the newspaper segment. I will quickly take a break.